So let's talk about the Reds. The Cincinnati Reds are looking to upgrade shortstop. And we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, but Francisco Lindor,
Hmm.
I think, was the focus of our conversation. But now it
Yeah,
looks
we were
like,
trying to find a landing spot for Lindor.
yeah. But well, let's try now. Let's try and plug this hole in Cincinnati rather than find a landing spot for Lindor. Obviously, he's going to be on the list. There's no way to avoid that. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of other names. Didi is the best option, or excuse me, the most surprising one. I can't believe they're going to let him leave Philly. I can't believe they let him leave New York. Just being honest. So,
No, I can't figure that out either. I can't figure that out with Philly. It's like all of a sudden Philly has no money.
right.
Like, I know the owner said, well, we took substantial losses because of the pandemic. Yeah, so did everybody else.
Yeah,
Everybody took substantial losses because of the pandemic.
it
You
does.
cannot claim poor when other teams are like, we'll pony up the money.
Yeah, it does feel like in I don't know 60 or not 60 days. I'm talking like a year and a half. So the embezzlement lawsuit's going to come out or something like that. We're like, oh, that's why
Oh,
they got
yeah,
rid
there
of
it is.
Didi. Oh, yeah.
Could be. But a couple interesting names that I saw in here were Marcus Semien, Adrelton Simmons, and also Trevor Story.
Trevor
Were
Story.
some other guys that I saw were interesting on here. Brig, I want to know who do you think is actually the best fit for this spot? Who do
So
you think would fit best in Cincinnati?
So culturally, I think that Adrelton Simmons is the best fit from just the limited cultural understanding I have of the Reds. And I say that because he has lots of personality and would not. He could go to Cincinnati and be whoever he wants to be. It wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that he's wanted to do that. He just needs the right culture to fit into. So I think that culturally, I would love to see Simmons in this spot. That to me, that would be the best fit. And all of these names they're all incredibly talented guys. You're not going to have a problem
Yeah.
delivering on the investment with any of these guys. I mean, injury prevented, knock on wood. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, there you
Like
go.
this is a great list. So I don't know. I think cultural is that the next thing is culture and lifestyle and things like that. And I think Simmons would have a lot of fun there.
Yeah, I think he would. Honestly, like I said a couple years ago about the Reds, you've never seen a team have so much fun losing
Right.
as they did the Reds a couple years ago. And then this year they were better. They made the playoffs, and they were over 500 making the playoffs.
Yep.
And they maintained that tight clubhouse. But the guy who I think would actually be really good for them is Trevor Story.
Mm-hmm. He'd be my number 2. But go ahead, tell us why.
I feel like anywhere he might lack defensively, everybody around him will fill those holes because the Reds are a fantastic defensive team.
Yeah, that's true.
Pitching, defense, they are amazing. But what they need is a guy who can hit.
Yep.
And Trevor Story has had a 30-20 season where 30 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and it's like that's exactly what you need.
Yep.
You need a guy who can get up and clear the bases because those guys can get on, but they have trouble driving them in. They don't hit home runs, so that's not how they're going to get him in there. But he's a guy who has exactly what you need him to do.
Yeah.
So I think Trevor Story is the guy for them.
Oh.
I think he's the one who fills that spot perfectly.
I like that. Like I said, he'd have been my number 2 pick, and for exactly the reasons you've stated. So, yep, I dig it. I dig it a lot. What do you think will
Awesome.
actually happen, though?
I think
It's too bad that's got to be a different question, right?
yeah. I think you're right. Though. I think Adrelton Simmons will come.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think he's a guy who demands way too much money. I don't think they're going to want to give up the assets that it's going to take to get Lindor. I don't think they're going to want to pay Didi Gregorius. I mean, Marcus Semien might be another guy. He's pretty good offensively. He's not Trevor Story, but he's like Trevor Story light.
He is
right?
Trevor Story light. Yep, I like that.
That he's not super consistent, but he's good enough.
Yeah.
That he's an upgrade from what they had, and he'll get the job done. He could be another guy who they could bring in, kind of on a budget, I would think.
You're right, man.
Relatively speaking,
That's a really cool idea. I like that a lot.